Richard Ramirez, born Ricardo Leyva Munoz Ramirez on February 29, 1960, in El Paso, Texas, was the youngest of 5 children in a troubled Mexican-American household. His father, a former policeman in Juarez, was a strict disciplinarian with a violent temper. As a child, Richard suffered multiple head injuries, including one incident where a dresser fell on his head, leading to frequent epileptic seizures. These injuries, combined with a turbulent home life, laid the foundation for psychological instability. One of the most profound influences on Richard's life was his older cousin Miguel Mike Ramirez, a Vietnam War veteran. Mike returned from Vietnam boasting about atrocities he committed, including rape and murder, often documented in graphic photographs he proudly showed Richard. Mike introduced Richard to the concept of dominating others through violence, even teaching him military stealth tactics and how to handle weapons. Richard idolized Mike, and when he was 13, he witnessed Mike shoot his wife in the face during a domestic argument. The incident left a lasting psychological scar. By his teenage years, Richard had begun using LSD and became obsessed with Satanism and the occult. He dropped out of high school and drifted between Texas and California, sustaining himself through petty theft and burglary. His fascination with death, power, and sexual violence deepened, and by the time he committed his first known murder, he had fully embraced a lifestyle centered on domination and evil. Richard Ramirez's murder spree officially began on June 28, 1984, with the brutal murder of 79-year-old Jenny Vincow in Glassell Park, Los Angeles. She was found stabbed repeatedly, with her throat slashed so deeply she was nearly decapitated. Her apartment had been ransacked, and signs of sexual assault were present. Investigators found a fingerprint on the mesh of a window screen, but no match was immediately available. He committed several more crimes over the next year, each escalating in brutality. His victims ranged widely in age, gender, race, and socioeconomic background. On March 17, 1985, Ramirez attacked 22-year-old Maria Hernandez outside her Rosemead home. He shot her in the face with a .22 caliber handgun, but the bullet ricocheted off her keys, and she survived. Inside the house, her roommate, Dale Okazaki, was shot and killed instantly. Within an hour, he struck again, pulling 30-year-old Tsai Lian Yu from her car and shooting her to death. On March 27, 1985, Ramirez entered the home of Vincent and Maxine Zazara in Whittier. Vincent, age 64, was shot and killed instantly. Maxine, 44, was bound, beaten, and stabbed. When Ramirez couldn't find valuables, he grew enraged and mutilated her body, gouging out her eyes and placing them in a jewelry box he later kept as a trophy. Investigators noted a distinct shoe print at the scene, believed to be from a rare Avia sneaker. In April 1985, Ramirez began driving to Northern California to continue his rampage, committing similar home invasions. His typical pattern involved entering homes at night through unlocked windows or sliding doors. He would shoot any male victim on sight and then bind, rape, and torture the women. Sometimes he made children watch the attacks on their mothers. Other times he molested the children themselves but spared their lives, instructing them to tell police the Night Stalker was here. Ramirez made his victims swear allegiance to Satan and sometimes carved pentagrams into their bodies or drew them on walls using lipstick or the victim's blood. His unpredictability made him particularly terrifying. Some victims were killed instantly, while others were subjected to hours of sadistic torture. Despite increasing public fear, law enforcement struggled to track Ramirez due to the erratic nature of his crimes. He used various weapons, handguns, knives, machetes, hammers, and even a tire iron. His fingerprints appeared sporadically, and he left shoe prints that became a crucial link across crime scenes. Eventually, authorities determined the same man was responsible for over a dozen murders, multiple rapes, and at least 14 burglaries. In August 1985, Ramirez attacked the Romero family in Mission Viejo. The husband survived a gunshot wound to the head and was able to give police a partial description of the vehicle Ramirez used. The car was later found, and inside it, police recovered a single fingerprint from the rearview mirror. It matched Richard Ramirez, who had a prior record for car theft. His mugshot was released to the public. On August 31st, 1985, a man matching Ramirez's description was spotted in East Los Angeles. Recognized by residents after seeing his face in the media, he was chased by a crowd, beaten and held until police arrived. Ramirez reportedly begged the mob not to kill him. During his trial, Ramirez displayed no remorse. He appeared in court flashing a pentagram drawn on his palm and shouting, "Hail Satan." His demeanor was calm, detached, and often mocking. The trial became a media circus, in part because of Ramirez's appearance, tall, thin, with long black hair and a chilling stare, and partly because of the gruesome nature of his crimes. Women sent him love letters and showed up in court, calling him a misunderstood anti-hero. The prosecution brought forth over 100 witnesses and thousands of pieces of physical evidence, including ballistics, shoe prints, fingerprints, and survivor testimony. The trial lasted over 4 years due to various delays, including a juror's murder unrelated to the case, and was one of the most expensive in California history at the time. On September 20th, 1989, Richard Ramirez was convicted of 13 counts of murder, 5 attempted murders, 11 sexual assaults, and 14 burglaries. He was sentenced to death by gas chamber. When the verdict was read, Ramirez responded with a chilling statement, "Big deal. Death always went with the territory. I'll see you in Disneyland." He spent the next 23 years on death row at San Quentin State Prison. During his incarceration, he married a magazine editor named Doreen Leoy, who insisted he was innocent. He gave interviews in which he continued to deny responsibility and claimed he was being framed by law enforcement and the media. Meanwhile, detectives continued to link him to additional unsolved cases, including child abductions and sexual assaults. On June 7, 2013, Richard Ramirez died of complications related to B-cell lymphoma at the age of 53. He also suffered from chronic hepatitis C and had been in declining health. At the time of his death, he had spent more time on death row than his killing spree had lasted. The Night Stalker case left an enduring legacy in American criminal history. His crimes changed the way many Californians lived, locking windows, installing alarms, and sleeping with lights on. Ramirez was one of the most feared and unpredictable serial killers in U.S. history, remembered for his unrepentant evil, the horrific suffering he inflicted on his victims, and the widespread panic he instilled across the state of California.